I'm about as real as they come.
All my beats tailored by Joe. House Digital.
Maserati, Rick in Detroit. Convertible bird in Miami. Graduated summa cum laude. Strip club made a tsunami. Carlton Hines with the ball game. Grateful Edmonds with the snowflakes. Craig Pettis in the M-Town. Sal Magluta with the boat game. Falcone with the cocaine. Like Freeway Ricky with the plug game. Like Monster Cody in South Central. Larry Davis from close range.
Charlie Rock LD. Charlie Rock LD. Up in Auburn. Doing your time. Swear to God, when you come home, you be on, nigga. Word is born. Tony Montana, rest in peace.
First of all, your man Charlie Rock, 18 years old, you know what I mean? I'm standing in front of the judge. I took a 20 clip to the chest. Niggas know that. Niggas know that. A nigga 18 years old to the front of the judge, took 20 to the chest like what? And it ain't even about all that. How the fuck a nigga gonna come home, you know what I mean? And you know, the love just wasn't there, nigga. You know the love wasn't there, dog. And the nigga's the most loyal nigga got. It is what it is now.
You lost your eye in your last stretch up in the mountains.
That's crazy, dog. That's the shit that really got me tight. Like, that's another shit that got a nigga tight.
They said it was TS related.
It's definitely, you know what I mean? We watching the motherfucking one of the Source 5, one of them Faggot Award shit. You know what I mean? Joking on, talking about, yo, I feel extra safe. Thanks to all the motherfucking police protection, the G unit, some shit like that. You know, so niggas started getting amped. If 50 come on, say some shit about Joe, whatever. So niggas talking bad about the guard. That's my brother, nigga. Ain't nobody gonna talk bad about my nigga in my presence. You stupid? Story short, niggas talking mad shit about Joe, this, that, and the third, right in my presence. I get up, start banging out, and you know what I mean? And your boy zigged when he should have sagged, and you know, and I caught him to the eye. And the nigga blind.
Shout out my brother Charlie. Shout out Charlie. Yo, Charlie, I love you, nigga. I'm here for you. And a lot of niggas gotta know, man, your reputation means everything. If you ain't good, if you don't keep it loyal with your people for years, your word ain't shit.
A.K. shitonniggas.com, A.K. the beat no king, A.K. the streets weep, hoping and praying. Who want this? I, the true king of them I. You know what it is, it's a Terror Squad DVD. Hood to hood, every hood. We hopping from hood to hood. Yeah, we do what we do. Charlie Rock, what up, nigga? I work with Joey Crack, Joey Krills, A.K. the Dawn Cartagena, the Dawn Connor, A.K. who will smack the shit out of anybody, A.K. you don't want to test. God forbid you test. You know where I be in Miami, I'm the Miami King. Yeah, you see the chain blinging. You know what it is, Dade County, stand up. You know what it is, man, I roll with the realest niggas. The realest DJ Charlie Rock, what up, baby? Oh man, you know what it is.
Right here, Charlie Rock LD, spitting oxes out, all that and everything, baby. Hood to hood, from my hood to your hood. This is Terror Squad DVD. This motherfucking DJ Khaled, the loudest motherfucking DJ on the planet, to smack the shit out of you. Now, I mean, Khaled, let them know who the fuck you be.
Who wanna pop off to the head, get popped off, niggas? You know what it is, hood to hood, Terror Squad. You see what we're doing right now? We just dropped the album. You see what Leaning Back does? Wait till the solo album drop, things of that nature. Coming soon, coming
radio
good
station,
I'm on 99 Jam WEDR every day. You know what I mean? We just got this new spot, new show, 6 to 10. We shut it down, legendary. Phone is ringing, Blackberry's going on, because we getting that money. Straight up, we getting that money, and that's what we do. I roll with Charlie Rock, Chucky Crack, shout out Macho, the whole crew. It's DJ Khaled, and they call me the Beat Nova King. I'm taking the beats over, man. I got the street beats. If you need them hot beats, I got it. I got it. Now my contract is guaranteed to shut down everything. Every fucking thing.
If you go the next day. So
888-SHADE-45 for promotional use only. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I got my man in the motherfucking building, representing from the BX. You understand
all
what I'm
day.
saying?
Charlie Rock LD, BX Borough, you heard? BX,
Charlie
stand
Rock.
up.
Charlie Rock, what's going on, dog?
It's all good, it's all good. Your boy back on the street, you know what I mean, K?
So, I mean, what's been going on with you, man? Everybody know you for being an official street cat and everything, and, you know, you used to run with Terror Squad, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know,
so
it is what it
on?
is. You know, I'm still a hood nigga, that never changed. I just got released and shit. Your boy got one headlight, though, you know what I mean? I got poked in the eye, banging out in the yard and all that, but, you know, that come with the territory. As far as for the squad now, you know what I mean? It hurts a nigga to say, but, you know, it is what it is, you know what I mean? I don't fuck with the squad no more, you know what I mean? With Fat Joe or anybody else on the squad, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Why not?
I'm saying, K, man, I look at it like this, you know what I mean? It's a fucking slap in the face to even be up here, but, you know, it is what it is, you know what I mean? I felt that I was the most loyalist general, most lethal nigga on the motherfucking squad, you know what I mean? And your boy Joe Crack straight up turned his back on me. Like, there ain't no other way to call it, K. Straight jacket, that's what it is.
But I mean, it's a reason for everything. Everything has to be a reason. Like, was there any reason why?
There's always a reason for everything, you know what I mean? All I'm saying is that I follow the code of conducts, K, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a street nigga, so I'm a DOC baby, practically raised all my life in the P now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you did like a stint, a long stint.
I did 14, came home, you know what I mean? Wow. I went back in because I forgot my sneakers and did another 2, you know what I mean? But, you know, that's what it is.
888
Charlie Rock LD, niggas know what it is, you know what I mean?
Charlie Rock.
Yeah, but, you know, getting back to the guard, you know what I mean? You know, as far as, you know, coming out of his mouth, he's saying, you know, a nigga just a loose cannon. Basically, niggas call me a loose cannon. I'm saying a nigga got to eat. You the leader of the team, and your team ain't eating right, nigga, then your team is gonna look elsewhere to eat. You know what I mean? I'm a full-grown man. I ain't gonna come to you every month, yo, I need this, yo, I need that. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was gonna be other things when the kid came home. He showed love, no doubt, but, you know what I mean? He turned his back on the nigga on a crucial moment. You don't wait for your boy to come home out of jail, back out of jail with one headlight, after banging out in the yard, defending his honor, though, K. You know, niggas was talking shit about Joe in the yard, whatever, this, that, and the third, whatever rumors they be talking, you know what I mean? You know, that shit he got to live with, but, you know what I mean? Basically, that was my brother at the time, and no way I'm gonna stand there letting niggas talk about bad about the guard, you know what I mean? About Fat Joe, so I bangs out with the niggas, you know what I mean? You know, unfortunately for me, I was the only nigga in the yard repping Terror Squad, so it's like about 5 niggas jumped me, you know what I mean? I'm banging out with them with the guns and all that and everything. I zigged when I should have zagged. I caught one to the eye, you know what I mean? And I'm basically blind in one eye, you know what I mean? And got partial vision in the other. That's what that is. And then I come home after that, and, you know, I get the phone call like, yo, dogs, like, we can't be cool no more. You know, like, you know, the fuck you mean we can't be cool, nigga? Part of the motherfucking G code is that. And basically, you know, nigga said a nigga had a loose gun, always stayed up in some shit, whatever and all that. I'm saying when it's time to bang out, I bang out, K. You know what I mean? K know me on a personal level, whatever and all that.
Hey, what's the situation? Salute the almighty MOBB. Shades Popalot. We back on MOBB business. Now, this story that we're covering today is going to take us to a place that I've known to call Headshot City. And it's going to take us through a very violent time in that city's history that some of the hustlers that I've spoken to call the Terror Era. And this is going to be anywhere from, I would say, 1980 through the mid-1990s. And it's going to take us to one of the most dangerous places during that time. And if y'all headed this way, it's going to be the South Bronx. And that shit ain't no safer. So you better keep your head on a swivel. And the person that we're going to be covering today is going to be someone just like some of the other people that we covered from the Bronx on this channel, and even closely associated to some of them, specifically Bronx legend David Chicky Boo Rosario. But I don't expect y'all to know this person from that relationship, but it's most likely if you do know this person, you would know them from a very public
online feud that they would have with somebody that at this point I would have to call a New York hip hop icon, and that's going to be Fat Joe. And depending where you are, you might not see it that way. But me, I vividly remember seeing the FloJo video for the first time in 1993. And as we sit 3 decades later, in 2023, he's still quite relevant to the culture. And the person that I'm covering today is going to be somebody that a lot of people will call a Bronx legend, and that's the recently deceased Charlie Rock LD. And if you don't know him from the online feud with Fat Joe, that's if you're not in the city and was active in the Bronx in the 1980s, because you definitely might know him from there, or if you ever spent time in the correctional system in New York, as he did time in Rikers Island, and he did a lot of time in Auburn Correctional Facility. But you would also hear his name a lot if you was familiar with any Terror Squad music. Fat Joe would shout him out on several songs, but one of the main times that I remember hearing the name and it stuck would be on Big Pun's album, Capital Punishment, and a skit where Pun would say he wanted to take this time out between the songs to dedicate the next song to his man, Charlie Rock LD, going on to say that Charlie Rock LD was one of the original members of the Terror Squad, saying how at that time in 1998, he was in his 9th year of his bid. That would mean he would have been arrested right in the middle of that terror era, right around 1989 or 1990 or so. And in that skit, he would back up something that Charlie Rock would talk about a lot on a YouTube channel and a podcast titled Prison Mentality that he started. Was one of the most powerful things that Big Pun would say on that skit was he's sad because him being Charlie Rock, lips don't flap. Now, if anybody was familiar or had the chance to run across any one of Charlie Rock LD's videos, and he talked about that time that he would spend on Rikers Island and in Auburn, he would say how he was 18 years old and he would get hit with a 10 to 20 year sentence. And it's crazy to think about somebody at the young age of 18 facing 10, but more than that, 20 years in prison. But he would go on to say that at trial, he was facing up to 5 decades, 50 years. So on the advice of his mom, he went out and copped to the 10 to 20. He would actually serve 14 years out of that 20-year sentence and almost spend as much time in a correctional facility as he did on the streets. Now, it's a lot of speculation as far as to what crime that he was locked up for, because I couldn't really find any video where he would nail that down. But I did see a live where one of the viewers asked him, did he go down on the body? And true street nigga form, he asked, what kind of question is that? But he would not only go on to say it was 1, he would just say the number 2, almost insinuating that the sentence might have had something to do with 2 murders. And he will often speak about how he got that time because he wasn't willing to testify against one of his mans that he would not ever speak on. But based on how he talked about his life, he was pretty much headed to the penal system at a very, very early age. He would go on to say that his relationship with Fat Joe didn't start with the music. They've pretty much been friends since about junior high school and through high school. So when I think about some of the stories that I heard Joe tell, and I hear Charlie Rock break down how he first got a gun at the age of 12, and by 13 years old, he would be sticking up niggas for sheepskins and leather bombers, which was a sport in New York in the 1980s. And he would go on to say that by the age of 15, they was robbing supermarkets and bodegas, ultimately moving on to drugs by the age of 16. Now, one of the main stories that kind of stick out with Charlie Rock. And I'm kind of sad almost telling this story because I noticed that months before him passing, he would tag me and people like World Star Hip Hop, Hassan Campbell, Gully TV, and different other entities to some of his videos. But I kind of refrained from even getting in the middle of something that he had with Joe, as I'm really totally against that shit. And instead of a nigga that's going to perpetuate that shit online and put it into people's face, I'm going to more likely to be trying to work that shit out in the background or offline if I have a relationship with the two guys, especially with the history that Charlie Rock and Fat Joe had. And the story hit my heart because it reminded me of one of my closest childhood friends, a guy by the name of Sherrod that I first met when I moved to East Flatbush, Clarkson between Bedford and Rogers. Shout out the whole Flatbush. Anybody from the area, I know they know who I'm talking about. Y'all get in the comment box, run it up. Now, Charlie Rock, LD, would explain how he would be forced to hide things like drugs, bulletproof vests, and guns on the roof of his housing project because his mom would pat him down every time he would walk into the doors of her house. And the reason for that is he explained that at one time she found the gun in the house and she was shook. So with that being his life before he was arrested, at 18, you could just imagine the totality. As I explained earlier, he got his first gun at 12 years old. And the Bronx was a very, very serious place at this time. I remember vividly a YouTube clip of one of the presidents walking through that shit because the buildings was burnt the fuck down. They have whole blocks, nigga, burnt down. And the shit with the Bronx, I don't know what it is about the Bronx versus every other borough. And don't get me wrong, it's Puerto Ricans in every borough because I knew plenty when I lived in Brooklyn. But it was nothing like that shit was in the Bronx. And nigga, you would hear stories about how niggas would catch beef. And this was high school time. Shout out to Prospect Heights, man. Anybody that went to Prospect Heights, if y'all did, tap in the comment box. Now, it would be stories about how, I got beef, or I got into beef with this one Spanish nigga, and they pulled up with a car with like 7 or 8 niggas in that shit. Them niggas was not playing on that shit. And especially if you run across a wrong patch, you gonna get your ass tucked in, Ace. And Charlie Rock reminds me of one of them niggas in that pack. Now, he would explain a story about how he would end up losing his eye. And this is almost going to be one of them alleged situations because according to him, it would be over a situation involving Fat Joe and G-Unit. But I seen one Fat Joe video where Fat Joe would say it might have had something to do with drugs, as Charlie Rock would go on to admit that at one time in his life, he battled with drug addiction, specifically heroin. And I even seen a video where he said the first time he used heroin was when he was locked up and he was serving, I think, 18 months in confinement. And in the 9th month, he found out that his mom passed away. And that kind of brought him into that life. So that shit just kind of was an eye-opener and should be an eye-opener to some people because he was free on the streets getting money. And he was able to fight the temptation or whatever that had to do with drugs. And it make me wonder how many people with long sentences end up or come home addicted to drugs that they wasn't on before they went into prison. He would say in several interviews how his relationship with Fat Joe was sour right around 2003 or 2004, which was going to be a few years after Big Pun's death. Because if I can remember right, Big Pun died in 2000. So we could really only wonder or imagine if Big Pun was here, would that relationship have stayed solid? But then again, this shit hip-hop, man. Niggas fall out with their closest homeboys, which is the fucked up shit about the sport. But we definitely want to say R.I.P. to Charlie Rock LD. And even though him and Fat Joe had that falling out, man, once you, down with a nigga since junior high school, you going to feel that shit in your own way. Now, if we got anybody that's tuned in that was on them blocks in the 1980s, had any run-ins or know anything about Charlie Rock LD, we definitely need y'all to get in the comment box. Let the memories flow. Y'all definitely hit the red subscribe button and the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real Trill Spill shit is dropping. And y'all get in the comment box per usual. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what gangsters we need to talk about, what I got wrong, and even what y'all think I need to be talking about. Y'all tapping with me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And y'all stay tuned. I got some real special shit coming up for y'all. And all of y'all that come in daily, every day, man. Y'all already know what it is with me. And y'all bulletproof love. Salute to the almighty mob.